Om Shanti. Pita Shri Prajapita Brahma Baba's life history. Title: Saraswati. The service centers were thriving, but they needed to be refueled. The new children wanted inspiration. Who best exemplified Bab-Dada's teachings? Mama. Every day more letters poured into Madhuban, requesting her presence in some distant center. Ma, oh Ma, very sweet Mama. When are you coming? We have been waiting so long. Bringer of peace, sing your awakening words. Fill us with hope for a new life. Our Divine Mother, we are but stars. Bring us the light of the moon. At last, in November 1956, Jagadamba Saraswati left Madhuban bound for Kanpur. When Mama arrived in Kanpur, a grand reception was held. She spoke to large crowds in her daily morning classes, encouraged new students, answered questions at press conferences, and offered guidance in private meetings. Mama showered love on all she met. Her speeches were published. The articles about her in the papers brought souls running from all over India to meet her. All who did so came away refreshed, amazed, and permanently changed. Indeed, they had never met another like her. The following poem expresses one poet's admiration for Mama. O mighty Jagadamba, Mother of the world, you carry the torch whose flame is godly knowledge, always elevating every soul. You are the destroyer of the darkness of vice. Troubles all vanish, peace comes to the heart when you arrive with your gentle, pure smile. Hail, sweetest Mama, hail to thee, Jagadamba. You bestower of delightful thoughts, always in yoga with Supreme Shiv Baba. God's victorious child you are. Come and awaken us to the new day of Brahma. How the souls at the confluence dance. Daughter of Brahma, our own Saraswati, you carry the light in your eyes. You gave us the nectar of truth undiluted. You opened up heaven's high gate. Hail to thee, brightest goddess, unknown yet so famous. You have taught all of purity's joys. O Mother, be with us. Accept the deep homage of all. More powerful even than Mama's words was a silence. At one gathering, Mama was about to be introduced from the rostrum, but as the moderator turned to look at her, he was so moved by her presence that he simply stopped in mid-sentence, transfixed. Mama walked to the center of the stage, and there she stood in glowing silence. Her eyes touched every soul in the audience. That which cannot be described by words was eloquently displayed with just a look. The crowd was hushed, amazed by what they were experiencing. Mama's presence transformed the auditorium into a cathedral. The moment was unforgettable. Then Mama began to sing. Her melody was like cool water flowing through a desert. Something happened inside the souls who listened. Those eyes, that voice, each made an indelible impression on them. The news of what occurred that remarkable evening spread across India. Afterwards, Mama received invitations from many cities to come and sing her sweet song. So Mama went to Delhi for the benefit of the people. Mama arrived in Delhi by train. Many yogis came to the station to meet her, all clad in white. The strangers on the platform wondered what sort of great dignitary was arriving. Why were so many people gathered here, and why were they so happy? The Brahma Kumars, to answer their questions, handed out some literature about Raj Yoga and told them of the qualities of Mama. The happiness of the yogis was infectious, and soon everyone on the platform was smiling, even if they didn't know why. They also began to wait eagerly for Mama's arrival. Soon, The train pulled in and the people gathered closer together, each hoping to be the first to see her. Mama stepped into view, her face shining. The waiting people were not disappointed. Even the onlooking strangers felt the pull towards God which her magnetic personality exerted. Though Mama had warned them not to, the yogis had brought her garlands of flowers to symbolize their love and respect. "What is this?" Mama asked as they came forward with the garlands. "I do not want these flowers. I want living flowers. You are the flowers. Once you were thorns, but now you are inculcating every divine virtue, aren't you? You are the garland of flowers of Baba's garden. Now tell me, are you ever fragrant?" "Yes, Mama," they answered at last. "Baba has made us into flowers." Mama laughed happily at this. Each day during her stay in Delhi, more spiritual seekers arrived to meet her. They came from long distances in a steady stream from early morning to night. Mama received them tirelessly, giving each soul what they needed. She cleared away their doubts. She offered support. Saraswati, the destroyer of fear, made them feel as if she was truly their mother. In the compass of her love, they were safe. Little children came too, and Mama always had a riddle for them. "Look, a traveler from a far off land has come to this foreign land. Nobody's eyes recognize him, but he is recognized by the hearts of all. That traveler has come only for a few days." When Mama had raised their curiosity, she asked, "Who is the traveler?" She explained that the traveler is God, Shiv Baba, who has come from the incorporeal world, trillions of miles away to this little planet. We cannot see him with those physical eyes, but our mind experiences the power of his words, the supreme authority with which he speaks, and the knowledge which he has of the creation. He proves that he is a seer, the knower of the three aspects of time, and he is the master of the three worlds. He is Shiva. Sometimes she would laugh, saying, "People believe that God is the ocean of knowledge and the ocean of peace, but they do not know that he is also a businessman. There is no other businessman like him. His goods are imperishable. No one has such merchandise. But he does not give all of these for nothing. He is very clever. He says, 'Give me your vices, give me your mind, and then I will fill up your whole bag with treasure.' But the traveling salesman stays here only for a short time. Soon he will be returning home. Only a few days are left. Then this decrepit world is going to be burned. So, why not trade in your useless sense pleasures for unending bliss? You will never find another such deal. Will you strike a bargain with him? If you do not do it now, when will you do it?" Mama electrified her listeners. When it was time for her to leave, they made effort to keep her longer. She promised to go back and tell Brahma Baba how wonderful his children of Delhi were. Perhaps then Brahma Baba would even come himself. Only with the hope of such an event did they let her go. Baba's children in Delhi wrote letter after letter to Baba imploring him to come. At last the ocean of love Shiv Baba and his medium Brahma Baba accepted the invitation. When they heard the news in Delhi, they could barely contain themselves. Brahma Baba wrote from Madhuban before arriving. "Sweet, sweet long-lost children, because of his love for the children, Shiv Baba has to leave Paramdham and come to this world of Maya. He has come to make us wealthy with knowledge. Baba cannot refuse his children. So, he must come to transform Delhi from a city of sand into a city of God. The chariot of Shiv Baba will also have to come. But remember one thing, who are you inviting to be your guest? Once you have known him, you must be ever pure, because He has come to rid this world of its bad smell, to make it fragrant with purity. So you must remain bound by the rules of the most elevated conduct. You must be constant yogis. Baba has also said, children, do not bring flowers to the station, and it is not necessary for many children to come to the station. You should not waste your money. Use it all for world upliftment, for giving Baba's inheritance to others. Children, I am neither a saint nor a Mahatma. I am simply your Brahma Baba. So what is the purpose of bringing flowers? The Father only wants to see you children as His fragrant flowers. Maya should never bring dryness in your life. The scent of virtue should be evident in your behavior so that people will understand whose children you are. Only those who observe celibacy were admitted to the meeting with Baba. They must also have been observing purity of food and drink and faithfulness to Baba in their intellect. This principle was in effect for the sake of the children, since one who is not pure cannot recognize the presence of God. Shiv Baba is secret. One cannot see Him with these physical eyes. Those who have not yet opened their third eye of knowledge would not be able to know that in the body of that common man, this invisible God descends. Such a blind soul could easily harm himself by doing bad karma towards the highest. Brahma Baba came in ordinary dress, plain white, without decoration. And what decoration could have been beautiful enough and priceless enough to befit the King of the universe? Each morning the class was filled with souls who wished to hear Baba's Murli. Every day a deeper secret was revealed. The power emanating from His presence made them feel lighter. They saw things more clearly. The burdens were lifted. The mind remained stable, open, detached and quiet. The paper tigers of desire lay in ashes. They had arrived at the living core of life. Let it always be like this. How could we have ever come down from this throne of purity? For there is no wine to compare with the nectar of God. Most amazing of all, this reified experience was available to all. One need not leave his home to live in a forest or cave, as the sadhus and sannyasis do. Baba said in one of his divine murlis that the karma sannyasis leave their house and business and live in the forest because they think it is impossible to stay with a woman and still conquer lust. But this is completely wrong. One who has tasted God's nectar will never give it up for poison. We are creating a new world, not running away. You must stay in your homes and families and conduct your lives with the power of yoga. Remain pure while living in the world, Baba counseled, and the world will be greatly obliged. God comes not to push you out of your house, but to make the house into heaven. You have called the Father, you have shouted out, O purifier, come. At last He answers, children, I have come. Now give up these passions. Put an end to that dirty business. You are souls. In the beginning you were pure. So your true nature is purity. Why would be it? Why should it be difficult to establish? Why should it be difficult to be established in that original state? But until you are soul conscious, it will be impossible. So consider yourself to be soul and live in remembrance of the one Father. Then you will receive the power to remain pure automatically. Om Shanti.